Imagine this. You spend your entire life trying to be accepted, trying to be understood, trying to be liked, trying to become someone that fits into expectations that were never truly yours. You adjust the way you speak. You filter your thoughts before expressing them. You hesitate, not because you don't know what to say, but because you're calculating how it will be perceived. You laugh when something isn't funny. You agree when you don't fully agree. You hold back parts of your personality just to avoid rejection. At first, it feels normal. It feels like adaptation, like social awareness, like intelligence. But over time, those small adjustments start shaping who you are. They become habits, then patterns, then identity. Until one day, you realize something unsettling. You are no longer acting freely. Everything you do is influenced by how others might see you. You are constantly aware, constantly adjusting, constantly monitoring yourself. You seek validation. You fear judgment. You measure your worth based on reactions. And the worst part is, it feels natural. It feels like this is just how life works. But what if it isn't? What if the need to be accepted is the very thing that's keeping you powerless? What if trying to impress people is the reason you feel stuck? Friedrich Nietzsche saw something most people never question. He understood that human beings rarely live for themselves. They live for the perception of others. They don't act based on what is true. They act based on what will be accepted. And that creates a dangerous illusion. Because the moment your actions depend on approval, your life is no longer your own. You become reactive, dependent, predictable. Think about it. How many of your decisions are actually yours? How many are shaped by what others might think? How many times have you stopped yourself from doing something, not because it was wrong, but because you were afraid of how it would look? That hesitation is not awareness. It's conditioning. And the more you follow it, the stronger it becomes. Nietzsche believed that most people are trapped, not physically, but mentally. Trapped in the need to belong. Trapped in the fear of rejection. Trapped in the illusion that being accepted means being valuable. And because of that, they never experience true freedom. Because real freedom requires detachment. The moment you stop needing approval, you stop being controlled by it. The moment you stop fearing judgment, you stop shaping your behavior around it. The moment you stop trying to impress, you begin to act authentically. And authenticity is power. But most people never reach that point, because detachment is uncomfortable. It creates uncertainty. It creates doubt. It creates distance from what feels safe. So instead of facing that discomfort, they stay inside the pattern. They continue adjusting. They continue reacting. They continue living based on external expectations. Even if it slowly erodes who they are. Even if it drains their energy. Even if it disconnects them from themselves. But deep down, there is always a signal, a quiet awareness, a subtle feeling that something is not right, that something is off, that something is not aligned. And that feeling is the beginning of awareness. Because once you start questioning this pattern, you begin to see it everywhere. You notice how often people adjust themselves, how often they seek validation, how often they sacrifice authenticity just to be accepted. And then you realize something uncomfortable. You've been doing the same thing for years without noticing. And that realization is where everything begins to change. Now here's where things become more difficult. Because awareness alone is not enough. Once you see the pattern, you have to decide what to do with it. And that's where most people fail, because breaking free from it requires discomfort. Your mind has been trained for years to seek approval, to avoid rejection, to prioritize acceptance over authenticity. So when you begin to detach from that, your system reacts. It creates resistance. It creates fear. It creates questions. What if people don't like me? What if I lose respect? What if I say something wrong? What if I'm misunderstood? And in those moments, most people retreat. They return to what feels safe. They go back to adjusting, back to pleasing, back to seeking validation, because it feels easier. But if you stay in that discomfort, something powerful begins to happen. You start to notice that the fear is not real. It's constructed. It's based on assumptions, on imagined outcomes, on expectations that exist mostly in your own mind. And slowly, you begin to detach, not from people, but from the need to control how they see you. You begin to speak more directly, act more freely, think more independently. And at first, it feels strange, because you're no longer filtering everything. You're no longer calculating every move. You're no longer trying to be liked. But then something shifts. You start to feel lighter, more present, more grounded, because you are no longer carrying the weight of other people's opinions. And here's the paradox. The less you try to impress, the more powerful you become. Because power is not built on approval. It is built on independence. Think about the most confident people you've ever seen. They're not constantly explaining themselves. They're not seeking validation. They are not adjusting their identity to fit expectations. They are stable, grounded, unbothered. And that energy comes from detachment. Nietzsche described this as the difference between reactive and active individuals. Reactive individuals depend on external input. They respond to approval. They adjust to pressure. They seek validation. Active individuals operate from within. They define their own values. They act based on intention. They are not easily influenced. And that distinction changes everything. Because when you stop reacting to everything, you gain control. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop being pulled in different directions. You stop being shaped by external forces. And that energy becomes available. Available for focus, for clarity, for action. But most people never reach this level because they are too attached to being liked, too attached to being accepted, too attached to the illusion of approval. And that attachment makes them predictable. Because if someone knows what you need, they can control your behavior. If you need validation, you will chase it. If you fear rejection, you will avoid risk. If you want to be liked, you will sacrifice truth. And that is how control operates, not through force, but through dependency. And the moment you remove that dependency, you remove the control. You become unpredictable, independent, free. And that freedom is something most people avoid because it requires standing alone. It requires being misunderstood. It requires letting go of the need to be accepted. But it also means something else. It means becoming real, fully, without filters, without performance, without fear. And that is where true transformation begins. Now comes the final realization. The moment you stop trying to impress people, your life begins to shift. Not instantly, but steadily. You stop overthinking every interaction. You stop replaying conversations. You stop worrying about how you were perceived, and your mind becomes quieter, clearer, more focused. Because you are no longer reacting to everything. You begin to direct your attention inward, toward what actually matters. Your values, your direction, your purpose, instead of constantly adjusting to external noise. And this is where real power emerges. Because now, you are no longer living for others. You are living for yourself. And that changes everything. You become more decisive, more direct, more authentic. Because you are no longer filtering everything through fear. And here's what makes it even more interesting. People begin to notice. Not because you're trying to stand out, but because you're no longer trying to fit in. And that difference is powerful. Because most people are predictable. They react to approval. They adjust to expectations. They seek validation. But when you stop doing that, you break the pattern. You become different, and difference creates impact. Nietzsche believed that becoming who you are is not about adding something new. It's about removing everything that is false. The fear, the conditioning, the need for approval. And what remains is clarity, strength, presence. But this doesn't mean you stop caring about everything. It means you become selective. You stop caring about approval, but you care about truth. You stop caring about perception, but you care about direction. You stop caring about judgment, but you care about growth. And that shift transforms your life. Because your energy is no longer scattered. It is focused, directed, intentional. And that is where real control comes from. Not control over others, but control over yourself, your thoughts, your reactions, your behavior. And once you reach that point, you realize something important. You were never meant to be liked by everyone. You were never meant to fit into every expectation. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. And that's okay. Because the moment you stop trying to be everything for everyone, you finally become something real. And that reality is what gives your life meaning. Because now, you are no longer performing. You are no longer pretending. You are no longer shaping yourself for approval. You are simply being. And that state is rare. Because most people never reach it. They stay trapped in the same cycle, the same fear, the same need for validation. But you don't have to, because now you see it. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You have a choice to continue the pattern or to break it, to continue seeking approval or to let it go, to continue living for others or to live for yourself. And the moment you stop trying to impress people, you stop giving them control over your life. And when that control disappears, what remains is freedom. And that freedom is where real power begins.